Okay, so welcome to this next video in which we are discussing NOSIP and NOSTRIN. So I've done a little bit of a whirlwind tour of eNOS and how it suspends itself at the plasma membrane. We now want to look at NOSIP and NOSTRIN, which are both proteins which stop the eNOS from localizing at the plasma membrane. Okay, so let me tell you what they stand for firstly. What does NOSIP and NOSTRIN actually stand for? Well, NOSIP stands for NOS, so nitric oxide synthase. So it stands for NOS, nitric oxide synthase, and then interacting protein. So this stands for the NOS interacting protein. Okay? Now, when the cell produces NOSIP, what it goes and does, that's all for English. What it does is it prevents eNOS from localizing at the plasma membrane. So here is the NOS interacting protein, or NOSIP, coming along here. So what it's going to go and do is it's going to pull eNOS out of the membrane, basically. And all that caveolin 1 stops it from doing it. If you've got eNOS bound to caveolin 1, then NOSIP can't detach the eNOS from caveolin 1. But certainly in this case where eNOS is just sort of in the membrane suspended by these palmitoyl and myristoyl groups, NOSIP will remove the eNOS and it will just leave the eNOS in the cytoplasm, basically. Okay, and eNOS in the cytoplasm is far less effective at responding to calcium signals and producing nitric oxide synthase. Nitric oxide. So you're going to overall produce less nitric oxide. So this is a way of regulating the nitric oxide synthase production. Okay, the next protein then, NOSTRIN. So NOSTRIN over here, let's say, stands for, again, nitric oxide synthase, so NOS, and then it's trafficking inducer. So NOS trafficking inducer. Okay, so the TR here comes from trafficking, and the inducer comes from, the IN comes from inducer. So NOSTRIN, NOS trafficking inducer, nitric oxide synthase trafficking inducer. So what NOSTRIN is going to do, so let's say here is NOSTRIN over here. Okay, again, it's going to go to the membrane of the cell and it's going to remove eNOS from the membrane of the cell. Okay, so it's going to remove eNOS from the membrane of the cell, but it's not just going to put it in the cytoplasm this time. Instead, it's going to take it and instead put it in vesicles, basically. So it's going to put your eNOS in vesicles here. So let's say these are your myristoyl or palmitoyl groups again, and now what's going to happen is your eNOS enzyme here is going to now be in these vesicles which also contain the NOSTRIN. So the NOSTRIN will bind to the eNOS and it will move it into these vesicles in which NOSTRIN is in. So this is eNOS. So it will remove it away from the plasma membrane again and store it in vesicles instead. So again, the eNOS's function in these vesicles is going to be reduced. You're going to produce less nitric oxide and you're going to get less relaxation of the smooth muscle. So you're going to get you're more likely to get vasoconstriction. You're going to be in a more constricted state if you're producing high levels of NOSTRIN. Okay, so have I got anything else to say? I suppose I could give you some little data on NOSIP and NOSTRIN. NOSIP, if you care, is a 301 amino acid protein, and NOSTRIN is slightly bigger. It's 506 amino acids long. So 506 amino acids long. So 301 and 506. Apart from that, I don't really have anything else to say on these proteins. They are important in regulating the function of eNOS and thereby controlling the diameter of your blood vessels.